clearly that the people of Ghana have the right to hold opinions for or against this agreement. And rightly so, because when the president appointed me as minister and this document came to my table, the Americans had negotiated with the Ghana Armed Forces a number of activities they will be doing going forward. Let me state that we've always had a security agreement with the Americans as a country. In fact, as a country, every president has always had a security agreement either with America or another country. From our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, till the current president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has always had security documents and security agreements with other countries. What we have never done is to share these security agreements publicly. This is the first time that a government has taken the deliberate decision to share this publicly. And I think that because it's the first time we had the unfortunate incident of politicizing that agreement, and it has led to where we are today.
But why will you share agreements that are supposed to be confidential, secret, publicly? Why will you do that?
You see, the Supreme Court of the Republic of Ghana takes the view that every agreement must go to Parliament. How does it go to Parliament? It goes to Parliament from Cabinet, with a Cabinet memo, and with a memo from the Minister. Once it reaches the realm of Parliament, and that's exactly what we did, we give them a copy. It is out of the jurisdiction of that minister or the executive. It is Parliament that squarely the foot is on. Parliament could have chosen to take the committee in what we call Committee of the Whole and secretly look at it, or decide that we believe that the first thing is to look at it publicly. But in this particular case, even before Parliament took that decision, some people leaked it to the media from Parliament. And that's what I'm saying that created all these problems. But let me go to the whole agreement itself. Our American friends brought an agreement with a preamble that sought to ask the people of Ghana that they wanted us to determine the status of their forces in Ghana, who will be visiting Ghana, because they've arranged a series of activities with our armed forces. And so when their soldiers come here, whatever number, whether 100, 50, 200, to do this work, what will be their status in Ghana? And secondly, they want to have access to and be able to use some facilities that are ours in Ghana. And they do not want to be able to use these activities within civilian areas, but within military installations. Remember that these facilities are ours, and they are asking us to allow them to use these facilities once they are here to do the work that they have agreed with the Ghana Armed Forces. This year, they have agreed to do 4 exercises with the Ghana Armed Forces. And when they come, the first one is about 200 soldiers. The second one, I think, about 150 soldiers. When they come to Ghana, what is the status of the average American soldier who's here? And what sort of facilities are we going to make available for them to be able to use? Full stop. That's what this whole agreement is about. So they come to say
why does the question of status arise? Because when they come, they are soldiers.
Yes. The status arise because there are certain benefits and certain privileges that they want from us. And in the agreement, they ask for certain facilities and certain benefits and certain privileges. And it's up to us to make a choice whether we want these facilities, want these benefits to them or not. So when I met the agreement, and they had made copious references to earlier agreements that we have signed with them, which are still in force. In 1998, we signed an agreement with them, which is still in force. We signed an agreement, according to them, in 2001, which is still in force. In 2000, which is still in force. In 2015, which is still in force. And in fact, the base document that they use in preparing this agreement is the agreement that Ghana signed with them in 2015. Then Hannah Tetteh, she signed that agreement. But something, unfortunately, Ghana didn't have the copy of our agreement. The Minister of Defense did not have the agreement. The Armed Forces did not have the agreement. The Minister of Foreign Affairs did not have the Hannah Tetteh agreement. It was the Americans who actually gave us that agreement. So once we signed this agreement with the Americans and they kept a copy, Ghana simply did not keep any copy. Neither was Ghana aware, because it was not in my handing over nose. It was not in the handing over nose of the Minister for Foreign Affairs, and the Armed Forces didn't have it. So clearly, we didn't know that we had signed this agreement. And until the Americans made reference to it, and I said, come on, I don't have any idea. I wrote to the foreign minister, I spoke to her, she searched through her archives, she didn't have it. It was when the armed forces were meeting with the Americans over how to structure this thing a month ago in Stuttgart, Germany, then the Americans gave them a copy of the agreement, the Hannah Tetteh agreement. That's how we messed up ourselves as a country. That's the first thing.
But before that, you say that the 1998, the 2001, the 2000, 2001, and the 2015, agreements are in force.
Yes.
If they are in force, why do we need another one?
No. So the Americans are saying that, and it tells you in the last paragraph that once we sign this agreement, it supersedes all other agreements that we have with them. So they have boxed up every agreement that we have with them into one document, and consolidated it into one document, and are saying that we should sign. When the agreement first came, the reason why it was in my ministry for a year and a half, it's very simple. When the agreement came, I looked at it as any other Ghanaian and had concerns that why do we want to give you immunity? Why are you saying that if somebody were to die, we have we cannot sue you? Why are you saying that we should allow you to come, when you come as soldiers, maybe, of course, the soldiers move in large groups, they put them in an aeroplane, they come. They shouldn't come with passports, because my ministry has no control over that. Why are you saying that we should allow you to carry a gun when you give orders? You have no been the respect of saying that you should consult Minister of Interior. I had concerns. Why is it that the Ghanaian soldier, if, for example, is going to America in large groups to do an exercise, you are not also giving the same conditions to them? Even though, technically, I know that our defense advisors, what we call the DAs, and their staff are given the same diplomatic status in America. But then, when we are also going in large groups to America, for example, for an exercise, I expected that we should also have the ability to go, not with our ID cards, our passport, but with ID cards. So I have concerns. Samson, what I did, and I told them, was that I'm not in the position to sign this agreement unless I pass it through the normal channels of scrutiny. There are levels that I want this agreement to pass through. And if this agreement is able to go through all these levels, then I'll know that the people of Ghana truly want this agreement. If they agree, I will start the process. If they don't agree, I'm sorry, I'm not sure that I'll be able to process with it. And that's why I said that it stayed in the ministry for close to 2 years, 1.5 years. Since I came, I met it. Samson, the first thing I did was to start engaging them. So I wrote to them that they should be very clear with me whether it was a base or it was not a base. And the American ambassador wrote clearly to my office to say, look, we don't intend to have a base. We haven't asked for a base, and it will not be a base. It is a facility at the Ghana Air Force Base, which we have used several times that we are asking. In 2015, Honorable Alex Segbefia, through a letter, granted the Americans the opportunity to stay in Ghana for a period of 5 weeks to fight Boko Haram in Nigeria. So Ghana was used as the base to fight Boko Haram in Nigeria. And it was the deputy minister then who wrote that letter and gave them, they staged it, they brought their aircrafts, they used that facility for that 5 weeks so that they could fight Boko Haram in Nigeria. So the Americans pointed out to me that it is the facility that sometimes they use, and they have been using it anytime they are in Ghana, that they are saying that instead of allowing other countries to have access to that facility. We alone want to take that facility and be using for our work with you. That's basically what we call the agreed facilities they're talking about.
Would there not have been a reason? You have sought for clarity and you have been giving so in writing. Would that not be a reason to ensure that that would have incorporated into the terms of the agreement?
No,
so that you are clear that this is not a base.
No,
then the argument will not arise.
I'll come to that. I'll come to that.
Because you have that explanation. Yeah. The others who saw it and equated it to a base don't have that explanation.
I'll come to that.
Okay.
I'll come to that. So, again, I wrote to the Americans to let them understand that I needed to pass this particular agreement through all the channels. They wrote back to say they are amenable to that, and that they are amenable to every negotiation that we could go through. Samson. So I then told them that they should get a team from America, and we'll get a team in Ghana. So I wrote to all the ministries concerned: Foreign Affairs, National Security, Interior, the AG, the Armed Forces, every ministry concerned, and they provided me with a technical and a person to come and form our team. There were 12 of them. I have the names here, but I will not mention them. It's not good. Their names and numbers, but we took a role. So we had our team, and the Americans had their team. And then we're negotiating one by one, clause by clause, clause by clause, clause by clause. The original agreement was worse than this. Some clauses, we took them out, some we brought them in. And so we negotiated until we got to where we are. Because remember that this template is a standard template that Americans use all over the world. And the Americans have this particular one.
You had actually said it was not different from the previous ones.
No, I'm coming. I'm saying to you that it's a template they have been using across the world. If you check the Senegal one, it's this, as if you read the Senegal one, you think you are reading the Ghana one. If you read the one that Estonia signed recently and what the minister went to America and was announcing it public to the world, you think you are reading the Ghana one. If you read the Spanish one, and maybe I'll download it for you, you think you are reading the Ghana one. If you read almost every one that they sign, you think you are reading the Ghana one because it's a template that they sign with everybody. The only country that managed to force them to negotiate was Ghana. And the ambassador was surprised. Why Ghana wanted to negotiate. If
all of them are identical, then I doubt what work you would have done through the negotiations.
I'll come to that.
Okay.
I'll come to that. For example, the one that we signed in 1998 said that they could hold guns if given by their orders. That means that once the Americans ordered them to hold gun in Ghana, we hold a gun. And it's still in force. We are those who signed it in 1998. The NDC government then, Victor Bowo was the foreign minister. He signed it in 1998. But what we changed in this current agreement is to say that they must consult the appropriate agency in Ghana, which here is the Ministry of Interior. So they cannot just come to Ghana and start issuing orders that hold a gun until they get that license from the Ministry of Interior. I don't know whether you get what I'm trying to say. That's the difference between the 1998 one and the enhanced one we managed to insect. But I'll come to each clause by clause that we are talking about. So Samson, we did the cleanup that we thought we could do. Then we then took it to the Armed Forces Council. The Armed Forces Council is made up all the service chiefs, the CDS, former retired generals, the Vice President, the Minister of Interior, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Defense. We looked at it and we approved of it after we did whatever we wanted to do there. From the Armed Forces Council, it then went to Cabinet. Cabinet also looked at it. It stayed in Cabinet for over 3 months. We did whatever we wanted to do. The AG brought her opinion. Everybody, we did whatever we wanted to do. And then finally, we took it to Parliament. Of course, Parliament used 3 days to consider it and approve it. My ministry stays very long. Stayed in the Armed Forces Council for some time. Stayed at the Cabinet for a long time. But of course, Parliament decided that they would approve it within 3 days, and they did. What I'm saying is that at every step, I ensured that it was no more just a decision of the Minister for Defense, but that it was the combination of the voices of the people of Ghana that would approve or disapprove of this document.
Okay.
And for me, one of the reasons we believed strongly that it should be an open debate was to ensure that Parliament, members of Parliament from all sides, both at the committee level and at the overall Parliament, that's the House itself, would be able to factor their views into this. So they needed to reject it or approve of it. In fact, even at the committee level, you can ask them. They made some changes to some of the portions. At that time, I had gone out. When I came back, the army generals convinced them that the way it was much better.